Welcome to episode 9 of the reading of Michael McCoy's Garden, and today's entry is marked the 19th of October 1997. You may remember yesterday we were talking about the fact that what I really needed was absolutely loads of compost. So we start today's entry by reading, loads of it arrived on Friday, 20 cubic meters to be exact. I've bought many such loads on behalf of clients, but felt just a touch sick as I signed my own check. The sum of $460 seems like a huge investment when you simply have no garden budget. Having shoveled compost of the accumulative bulk of Mount Macedon in my time, I've come up with the rough guide that there are approximately 10 to 13 big builder's barrows per square metre. Depending on its weight, which is highly variable according to its moisture content, and the difference between the delivery point and ultimate resting place, I can comfortably move and place 5 metres in 2 hours. On that basis, I thought I had about 250 barrow loads to move and about 8 hours of it, but it isn't possible to do 8 hours straight at that pace. 2 hours on Friday evening and 3 hours early yesterday morning knocked over more than half of it. It's pure pleasure. You feel as if you're pampering yourself and pampering your garden, that everybody is benefiting, except perhaps the bank balance. But then it had to be dug in, and I'm utterly sick of digging. No, it's more that my back is. I actually go at it with a certain sense of pleasure, derived largely from nearing the end of the task. But the back soon complains when I try to stand up straight after about an hour. Part of the problem is that I like to use a short-handled spade, as I like to use the handle on top for flipping the soil over. A long-handled spade doesn't give you the same agility. This means that I spend most of my time bent double, particularly when the spade is plunged in deeply. But I gave in yesterday and used a long-handled shovel, which worked well. Those shovels are not designed for digging. The blade of a spade is almost parallel with the handle, as it's meant to be used vertically for digging, while the shovel's blade is at an angle to the handle, so as to be best for horizontal use, say to shift a pile of soil. But with the soil pre-dug, the shovel with rounded blade was fine. I could stand up almost straight and dig in relative comfort. Because of all the compost, the soil level has now been raised significantly, so I dug ahead of myself, standing on the part I'd just dug, so as to compress it slightly. When too fluffed up with organic matter, the top few inches of soil can dry out quite fast. So it's really interesting to think back on that era of really heavy composting, which was kind of my standard procedure. And as I've said on previous days, I tend not to do that so much anymore. But certainly one thing I've discovered over the years is that no garden, I've never ever known a garden that can create its own or meet its own demand for compost. No matter how dedicated a compost maker you are, it's unlikely that you'll be able to meet your own needs for compost. And I've always had to buy it in when I've wanted to use large quantities of it. Come to think of it, I really need a large quantity now. But join us tomorrow when we'll be reading about my passion for this idea of a gravel garden that back then in the mid to late 90s was really brand new, as exemplified and beautifully carried out by Beth Chatto in her garden in Essex. So join me tomorrow for our next episode of Michael McCoy's Garden. Bye.